Joining today from Department of Ag, Trade, Consumer Protection. We call them DATCP. I've got Lara Sutherlin. Your official title escapes me. You're like the boss of everybody, aren't you?
That is what I like to be called, but I'm supposed to be called the Division Administrator of Trade and Consumer Protection.
Well, whatever the case is, we love having you on the show and glad you're back with us. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about student loan debt scams and more. Kind of confusing because this continues to change, be extended. There's, legislation out there to try to forgive all student. It's all over the place. But guess who is watching this closely? Your scammers. And this is a good chance for us to break this down. So first and foremost, what should people know when it comes to student loan debt?
Right. So what is true and what is not true? So what is true is that the federal loans that have been put in forbearance by the federal government, and they've been in forbearance since August of 2022, are still in forbearance. They were supposed to come out of forbearance at the end of this year, but that has been extended yet again to June 30th, 2023. And this is important because if you have a federal loan that's eligible for this, and that's most federal student loans, the government is putting it in forbearance for you and you don't have to pay. While they're in forbearance, if you can pay, continuing to pay is really great because you're paying on the principal, not the interest. So that's really terrific if you can continue to keep paying. But if you can't, they're in forbearance until June 30th, 2023. After that, then folks are going to start needing to pay. And Jeremy, a lot of people have been in forbearance for a long time. Some people have taken their loans out and gone straight into forbearance. So they've never actually learned how to pay their loans and incorporate that loan payment into their budget. So a couple things that you should know about that. There's a lot of repayment plans that are out there, and all of them are free to enroll and figure out how to use them. So if you're ever asked to pay for information about that or to enroll in a repayment plan, it could very well be a scam. You do not have to pay. There's a great hotline that the Wisconsin Coalition on Student Debt is hosts with Ascendium Education Solutions, and that hotline is 833-589-0750. Folks can call that hotline and learn about what kind of repayment plans they're eligible for, and how they can efficiently and effectively and fairly pay their loans back. The other thing is there's some great forgiveness that the Biden administration has provided to students, but it's currently on student borrowers, that is, but it's currently on hold because it's been challenged in the federal courts. So upwards of 20 million borrowers have already applied for the student loan forgiveness. The folks are eligible for $10,000 to $20,000 in loan forgiveness, depending on your level of poverty. But that is currently on hold, and that's part of the reason that we're seeing this extension on the forbearance for the payment until that case can work its way through the system. But what you need to know is that 800 number, 833-589-0750. You can call there, get a safe, trustworthy expert that's confidential, that can talk to you about your loans. And you should start doing that. You should start thinking about how to pay them back. Don't wait till the last minute, and because this can get pretty complicated. So that's what's true and accurate. But Jeremy, let me spend a little bit of time talking about what's not accurate and what are the scammers are doing. The scammers are taking advantage of this space because it's confusing and it keeps changing, and the government is not able, their plans have starting and stopping, and that's where scammers come in and say, we have all the information, don't worry your pretty little head, just pay us some money and we'll take it from there. Turns out that's not how it works. It is confusing. No one can take your money and make all of this easy. And if that's what they're promising, you should ignore it. If they're asking you to pay for something, as I said earlier, all of these programs are free. You don't have to pay to apply. You don't have to pay to enroll. You don't have to pay for any information. So if somebody's asking you for money, it's very likely a scam. The other thing you should never do is part with your federal student aid ID number. And that's the number that you use to log in to your student loan account. what scammers like to do is ask for that number and tell you that by having that, they can manage your account for you and it makes it easier. Well, what that means is they have access to all of your information. And what they'll do is they'll go in, they'll change your address and in that system, and then all of your billing statements will then go to the scammer. So you're paying the scammer monthly, thinking you're paying down your loans. The scammer is getting all the information from the federal government, and you're none the wiser. So absolutely, under no circumstances should you share that number. It's like your social security number. It's yours and yours alone, and you shouldn't share it. If you think you've been scammed by one of these debt settlement companies, if you've paid an upfront fee, you've shared this information, or you're paying somebody right now and your loans aren't going down, you should absolutely report that to the department. We are investigating these types of debt settlement scams and student loan scams, and we'd love to hear from you. So you can give us a call if you've been scammed at 1-800-422-7128.
Yikes. That is a lot of information. Just thank you for clearing up where we are, status quo today, and why we're there. But more importantly, Wisconsinites and people across the United States are getting scammed. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely. There are a lot of scams out there. And that's because, look, there's one, I think the latest account is 1.5 or $1.7 trillion of student loan debt. And here in Wisconsin, it's well over 200 billion. And there's, hundreds of thousands of borrowers. So lots of money, lots of potential victims, and lots of confusing information. So what does that mean? That means scammers are out there. They're trying to make it more complicated, or at least take advantage of that situation. So again, if it sounds too good to be true, it is. If they say they have this great partnership with the government and they can make it easy for you, that is a scam. This is complicated stuff. And there's a great resource here in Wisconsin, this Wisconsin Student Loan Debt Hotline, 833-589-0750, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30, confidential student loan experts there to take your call and answer your questions.
Yeah. All right. Well, appreciate the update. We'll get that number up on the screen there for everybody to check out. And of course, check out the Department of Trade Consumers website for the information shared here today, because you guys will continue to provide the latest information, and using that hotline number for student loan here in Wisconsin is an awesome resource. Thank you, Lara. And thank you truly for all of this year and all the years that you've been partnered with us and getting information out. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to having you and the rest of the staff back next year in 2023.
Great. Thanks, Jeremy. I appreciate it.